Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to pull back the curtain on this invisible force that, believe it or not, organizes every single sentence you speak, read, and write. Let's dive in. All right, let's kick things off with a little puzzle. It seems really simple on the surface, but it actually reveals something incredibly deep about how language is wired. We're going to look at a sentence that just feels, well, broken. You know that feeling you get when you hear something that's just not right? As speakers, we have this gut instinct for grammar. We know when a sentence is broken, but could you explain why? What's the actual rule that's being violated here? So take a look at this sentence. John died Mary. I mean, on the surface, it looks like it has all the right parts, doesn't it? You've got a subject, John, a verb, died, and an object, Mary. And yet, it's just completely wrong. The reason why is pretty fascinating, and it's probably not what you think. To solve this little puzzle, we've got to meet the true director of every sentence. You know, the one who's really behind the scenes, calling all the shots and deciding who gets to be in the story. Yup, you heard that right. It's the verb. It's so much more than just an action word. The verb is the absolute center of the universe for a sentence. It's the boss. It dictates the entire structure, just like a director on a film set telling all the actors where to stand. And this special power, it actually has a name. It's called valency. Think of it as this invisible set of rules that the verb enforces on every other word around it. It's the verb's specific demand for a certain cast of characters. So if the verb is our director, well, every director needs to cast actors for the main roles in the story. And in the world of grammar, these absolutely essential roles are called arguments. Okay, so think of it like this. Every sentence has two kinds of players. First, you have the arguments. These are the essential cast, the stars of the show. The verb demands that they be there. Then you have the adjuncts. These are like the optional extras. Things like the time or the place. They add some nice detail, but the verb doesn't actually need them for the sentence to work. So how do we tell them apart? How do we know what's essential and what's just extra fluff? Well, let's look at an example. The verb here is received, and it's got three phrases around it. So which ones are the mandatory arguments and which one is the optional extra? Let's put this to the test. If we drop at the airport, the sentence is still perfectly fine. The taxi driver received 2 Russian tourists. That tells us at the airport is an adjunct, an extra. But what happens if we drop 2 Russian tourists? We get the taxi driver received at the airport. And that is broken. The sentence doesn't work anymore. That's how we know 2 Russian tourists is an essential argument that the verb received absolutely requires. Okay, so here's the big takeaway from all this. Every single verb has a specific, unchangeable demand for how many arguments it must have, and that's its valency number. Let's start with a simple one, a verb like die. This verb has a valency of 1. That means it only has room in its world for one single argument, the person or the thing that is doing the dying. And bam, this brings us right back to our original puzzle. John died is a perfect, complete sentence. The verb die has the one and only argument it needs, John. It simply cannot control a second one like Mary. It just doesn't have the power to do it. Okay, moving on up. What about a verb with a valency of 2? A verb like destroy. It demands 2 arguments to make any sense. You need someone or something doing the destroying, and you need something that is being destroyed. And check it out in action. The army destroyed the city. Here, the army is argument number 1, and the city is argument number 2. The verb destroy has its 2 required roles filled, and the sentence is grammatically perfect. But wait, there's more. Some verbs are even pickier. Take the verb give. It actually has a valency of 3. It needs a giver, a recipient, and the thing that's being given. You see how that works? In a sentence like, she gave him a letter, you've got all 3 parts, she, him, and a letter, that perfectly satisfy the 3 roles this verb needs. And this, by the way, is why a sentence like John gave me feels incomplete. Your brain is going, gave you what? The verb give is missing its 3rd essential argument. Okay, I know what you might be thinking. This all seems kind of technical, right? Just some abstract grammar rule. But understanding valency is actually fundamental to how we build meaning and, communicate clearly with each other. And trust me, this isn't just for grammar nerds. Every time you write a clear email, you are intuitively following these rules. And when you talk to Siri or Alexa, their ability to understand you is built on this exact principle. Valency is the blueprint that allows AI to figure out what you're asking. It really proves that language isn't just some random collection of rules, but a deeply logical and beautiful system.
So the next time you string a sentence together, just take a second to remember that powerful little director at its heart, the verb, silently casting its essential actors and making the whole show work. And that leaves us with an even bigger question to chew on, doesn't it? If the verb is the boss of the sentence, what decides the rules for the verb itself?